In what one mother has described as the most terrifying moment of her life, she accidentally locked her newborn in her hot car. Afraid for her baby's well-being, she immediately called 911, but she wasn't prepared for the dispatcher's response. Lacey Guyton was visiting her grandma when she experienced the scariest moment of her life, Cray reported. The Michigan mom had put her 2-month-old baby, Rhina, in her car seat, placed the infant's diaper bag in the car, and shut the door. She then walked around the car to her door, only to hear all the doors randomly lock. At that point, Lacey realized the keys were in her diaper bag, which was in the locked car, along with her newborn baby, she explained in a Facebook post. Having only a key fob and push button to start car, touching the door handle with the keys inside should have unlocked the door, Lacey explained, but much to her dismay, it didn't. That's when the mom says her heart sank, and she had her grandma immediately call 911 while she grabbed a chunk of asphalt off the ground and started bashing it into the front passenger window of the car as hard as she could. When that failed, Lacey's grandma retrieved a window breaker for the mom to try. Unfortunately, all of her efforts were doing nothing, and the 911 operator's response only made the ordeal even worse. The 911 dispatcher told my grandma to call a tow company because they don't send anyone out to unlock cars or break windows. The mom recalled, but explained that she didn't have time to wait for a tow company because Rhina was screaming and getting hotter in the car. Frustrated, Lacey called 911 again, telling the dispatcher again that her 2-month-old infant was locked in the hot car. Lacey asked the dispatcher to please send fire rescue just to smash my window, as she didn't want to wait for someone to unlock the door while her baby was getting hotter by the minute. Again, however, the 911 operator said she would transfer the mom to a tow company because they don't send anyone out to break windows or unlock cars, the mom said. Not knowing what else to do, Lacey decided to ask the tow company to come while she kept trying to break the window. Unfortunately, as Lacey waited, things seemed to go from bad to worse rather quickly. I checked on Rhina again real quick and saw she stopped crying and was starting to close her eyes, she recalled, explaining that she was unsure whether Rhina was falling asleep or if she might be dying in the hot car. With her daughter's health in question and realizing that emergency rescue wasn't coming to save her baby, Lacey said she experienced the worst feeling in the world. Perhaps it was that feeling that finally gave the mother enough strength to save her daughter as Lacey ran to the rear window, giving it 2 hard hits with the window breaker. Finally, the glass shattered, allowing the mom to crawl into the vehicle and rescue her child, who was drenched in sweat but thankfully started screaming when Lacey grabbed her. I never felt more relieved, she recalled. However, 911's response still left her unsettled, prompting her to speak out. According to Lacey, the tow company didn't arrive for another 12 minutes after she had already rescued Rhina from the hot car and calmed her down, and Lacey believes if she had waited, it would have been too late. It was the most traumatic 15 minutes of my entire life, Lacey explained. She added that although they were so thankful Rhina was okay, they were also extremely pissed that after calling 911 twice, while her daughter's life was on the line, a dispatcher who's been there for years still refused to send help. Waterford police called Lacey to apologize for what happened. It's a common-sense issue, Chief Scott Underwood said. You call 911, you expect for somebody to come and give you some help, and we certainly should have gone and done that. We made a mistake and we need to fix that, he added, saying the dispatcher would face disciplinary action. As for the family, they just want to ensure nothing like this happens to anyone else who might also experience a malfunctioning key fob that causes a child to become trapped in a hot vehicle. It's the most helpless feeling to see your great-grandbaby in there crying and drenched in sweat, grandmother Mary Riley said. We want this corrected. We don't want anybody to lose their baby because this wasn't taken care of for us. Lacey Guyton echoed similar sentiments, saying it shouldn't take additional training for a 911 dispatcher to know to send help. She also shared useful information with others should they ever find themselves in the middle of such a nightmare. I now know that the back windshield of a car is the easiest to break, she wrote. In a situation like this, don't waste your time trying to break the side windows, just go right for the back windshield. She advised as she encouraged others to share because I desperately wish I had known that before. While the dispatcher's refusal to send immediate assistance shocked Lacey, it also raised serious questions about emergency protocols. Many were left wondering how a distress call involving an infant in immediate danger could go unanswered by rescue services. In her Facebook post, Lacey described the response as not only upsetting but also deeply alarming, emphasizing that time is of the essence in situations like these. Every minute that passed felt like an eternity, she wrote, voicing her disappointment that an emergency dispatcher seemed to ignore the urgency. As word of Lacey's ordeal spread, it sparked a broader conversation online about how emergency services handle similar calls. Many parents empathized with her distress and shared stories of their own close calls with car locks and small children. Comments flooded in from people demanding changes to 911 protocols, arguing that dispatchers should prioritize cases involving children in potentially life-threatening conditions. The story also garnered media attention, as people questioned the logic behind refusing immediate assistance in such a critical moment. Lacey's experience highlighted an important safety concern that hadn't been widely discussed. While modern car key fobs are convenient, they sometimes malfunction or lock people out in unexpected ways. In fact, reports of accidental lock-ins with key fobs are on the rise, especially involving children and pets. The issue led Lacey to encourage parents and caregivers to be cautious and to always have a backup plan in case their key fob malfunctions. It's a convenience that can turn into a nightmare, she warned, reminding others to stay vigilant. Following the incident, Lacey connected with local advocates who work on improving child safety measures. Together, they began pushing for policy changes within the emergency response system. They argued that dispatchers need to receive specific training for incidents involving children in locked cars, especially on hot days. Lacey hopes to see legislation passed to ensure that similar emergencies are handled differently in the future, adding that no parent should ever be denied immediate help when their child's life is on the line. Chief Scott Underwood also acknowledged that Lacey's experience had revealed a gap in protocol that needed immediate attention. He explained that the department had already begun revisiting policies related to lockout situations, particularly involving vulnerable individuals like infants and elderly people. This incident was a wake-up call for us, Chief Underwood stated. We're committed to making sure that no other parent ever feels as helpless as Lacey did. Public outcry following the incident has put pressure on the emergency services to act quickly. Citizens began calling for the dispatch center to implement stricter guidelines, especially when it comes to potential life-threatening situations involving children. In response, the city's emergency services have promised an internal review and pledged to update their training programs to avoid such incidents in the future. Our mission is to protect and serve, and we take this responsibility seriously, a city spokesperson said. The harrowing experience also took a toll on Lacey emotionally, even after she successfully rescued her daughter. She recounted experiencing flashbacks and nightmares about the incident, with the sound of her daughter's cries haunting her for weeks. The experience was so traumatizing that Lacey has started attending counseling sessions to process the emotional aftermath. It's something I'll never forget, she said, expressing the pain and helplessness she felt as she stood by her locked car, desperate to save her baby. In the wake of the incident, community members came together to support Lacey and her family. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers reached out, offering words of comfort and solidarity. A local nonprofit, which focuses on child safety education, reached out to Lacey and provided her with resources and materials to help educate other parents about what to do in similar emergencies. This support has been instrumental in helping her process the event and turn her pain into a mission to raise awareness. Lacey hopes her story will serve as a reminder of the dangers of leaving children unattended in vehicles, even momentarily. The experience has changed the way she approaches safety and has led her to be more cautious about double-checking her vehicle. She now carries a spare key and keeps a window-breaking tool within easy reach, knowing how quickly an ordinary day can spiral into a life-threatening situation. Looking back, Lacey feels immense gratitude that she was able to rescue Raina before it was too late. The relief of holding her child, safe and sound, was a feeling she'll never forget. However, she believes the dispatcher's response could have led to a tragic outcome, and she hopes her story will lead to meaningful changes. If sharing what happened to us can save even one life, then it's worth it, she concluded. Since sharing her story, Lacey has also received an outpouring of support from parents around the country, many of whom shared their own struggles with emergency services in critical moments. This feedback has only strengthened her resolve to push for change. Lacey hopes her experience can serve as a catalyst to improve 911 response policies nationwide. She believes that hearing first-hand accounts like hers may encourage lawmakers to prioritize new training and protocols to protect children in emergencies. Ultimately, Lacey wants her experience to be a lesson in both vigilance and resilience. While she is grateful her story had a positive outcome, she knows others may not be as fortunate. She hopes her story not only encourages parents to be proactive, but also inspires communities and emergency services to work together to prevent similar situations. It was a terrifying ordeal, she said, but if it leads to better protections for children, then maybe some good can come from it.